Hi, everybody. Hello, Funny.
Hello, audience. Hello, June.
Hello. And this is June, and this is Funny. And we are back with another lesson plan. Okay. If you remember that we had promised you that we're going to come back with another lesson plan on adult learning. So, in our previous video, we shared a lesson plan in regards to job interview. And today we are back with another topic. So, Funny, what do you think the topic is all about today?
Mm, maybe,
Any guesses?
maybe our learners will visit a mall or a grocery store, something like that.
Hmm. Yes, and why do you think they're going to visit a mall or a grocery store or a movie theater? Why not a zoo? Why not a circus?
Yeah, adults don't visit zoo and circus very often, but malls and cinema theaters are very common among them. So I think this would be a more appropriate lesson for them.
Yeah, absolutely. So you're bang on. Yes. So today our lesson is, related to the topic where adults would relate, absolutely easily and readily. And especially this is for day-to-day English, for survival English that you can put to functional use. Right. So as you can all see that this is about a grocery store, or you can even say to a supermarket, whatever you may choose to write. And this is of course a regular task, and we all have to do it in whichever country you are. And you know, especially if you're going to a country where English is the first language and you're not confident about the same, then yes, while learning English, this one topic is so useful. Okay. So, that's why it is said that whether your students will be traveling or living abroad, this lesson is a great for teaching about food and shopping and all the vocabularies and sentence structures related to that. So, what is the aim of this lesson? It is to teach students about the supermarket and shopping and how to get into a conversation. And the skills focused is again speaking, listening, and comprehension. And material is where here it says Blackboard, but it can be a PowerPoint as well. And there is a handout for students. And easy to intermediate, which means like from elementary to intermediate, and time frame again 45 to 1 hour. And as I have mentioned in my previous video, that the flow of the lesson is something that you need to actually look into and watch out for, because you can always tweak the lesson, you can modify it, and you can add your own components, but you must understand that how a lesson plan should flow, keeping this sequence and ensuring that each part of your lesson is connected to one another, and it doesn't go and it must not go out of sync. Yes, so let's begin. So the first part, the introduction. Here again, though it says it introduced the topic, however, introduction to the topic can be done in an interesting manner. Okay, and as simple as showing them a picture of a grocery store or a shopping mall, or even a 10-second video clip, and then you can have a discussion after you've elicited that what they have seen, and then you can discuss that how students can actually um, you know can answer in English particularly. So for example, you ask, let's say to have produced weighed and how to understand the price. And here there's an example of a butcher, but you can always give an example of any other, let's say, shopkeeper instead of a butcher. That's all up to you. So here the example is that ask the butcher about the price of meat, you can ask the fisherman about the price of fish, or the vegetable seller of the price of a vegetable, and what is the quantity that you are looking for. Then you have to learn about how grocery stores are organized. Like for example, you find processed foods and international foods and candies, soft drinks, and there are alcohol, and let's say frozen food, and all the vocabularies that are related to food. you can discuss and you can help them to say it in English. So that's the first part, which is good for 10 minutes. And now we'll move on to part two of this lesson. Yeah. So the part two, if you see, is again for 20 minutes roughly. And here again, there is going to be a worksheet. So yeah, Pani is going to show us the worksheet. What is it all about? And keeping that worksheet, what you need to do is you have to explain the differences between the customer and the clerk. Now, if you have noticed that in the previous video also, there was a focus where the facilitator had to explain the difference between the employer and the applicant. So you must always give them a clear idea, and the concept should be clear that whatever the conversation that's about to take place between these two different people, what is their job, what should be the characteristics, and a customer will be asking a set of questions, uh, and a clerk will have a different mind frame where, here of course it's saying clerk, but what it meant is that the person, the shopkeeper. And then you assign the students their roles in the pairs, and then you just simply allow each pair to do a role play scenario with the help of the worksheet. After that, you have to ensure that they've understood, and they also need to improvise a lot of the role play on their own, which is also important. And they must, because situations are all unpredictable. So they can write information and phrases down before they get started, like they can from their own imagination, and that will help them to guide during the role play. So get the students to do this quick practice role play session with their partner. And while they're doing so, you walk around and see that who needs what help, and ensure that you have a notebook so that you're also making the small observations as how they are actually coping up with the activity, who are more, comfortable with certain vocabulary and who is not, their body languages, are they okay with the tenses? Where are the mostly glitches that are happening? Are they lacking in more vocabulary? What are the common errors, not mistake, I repeat, what are the common errors that you're finding in most pairs? You have to make a good note of them. So that's why you are around. And of course, where you see that a pair who needs a lot of help, yes, you can definitely step in and you can help them out. Okay, so you talk about how to do a better role play as a group once they are done. So Funny, let's look at the worksheet. Okay, yeah, we'll come back to the role play 3 later on, but please let's go on to the PDF, the worksheet, please. So can you please move on to the worksheet and not to the role play? Yeah. Yes. So if you viewers, if you see, this is what the grocery sheet is. Okay. So there is a customer. There are like 4, situations. And in one situation, it says that you need to buy a vegetable and a fruit. So this type and the quantity. So the type and the quantity is up to you. Find out where they are and get them weighed, and then be sure to ask how much they cost. So that is one customer will do. So accordingly, they will write their informations, and they, as I have mentioned, that they can improvise, and they should improvise simultaneously. If you see what the shopkeeper will do, that you decide how much your fruit and vegetable would cost, then you weigh the fruit and the vegetables and be sure to sell to the customer, and how much per kilogram or per pound or whatever. However, if you see the introduction, before the details you go into about the customer and the shopkeeper, you see that in the worksheet, it's again, it's been clearly mentioned what is expected, and more importantly, it has been mentioned that you have to be creative, you have to be imaginative, okay, and a bit of sense of humor is always a welcome. That actually what keeps the class and the activity more fun. And then you be prepared to discuss the role play. So this is how the worksheet looks like. Okay, and a clear guideline has been given to people or to the participants who wants to be a customer, and it is always advisable to switch. So let's say if I am the customer now, I must get an opportunity to be the shopkeeper the next time. Okay, thank you, Funny. So now we can move on to the part 3 of the lesson plan. So once the pair finishes their practice, okay, then what you do is that you have each of this customer find another shopkeeper, and the shopkeeper just remains seated. Just if you remember how the employer and the applicant would behave, so it's the same arrangement in the classroom, and they will just go around, and they will continue with different role plays with a different shopkeeper. So each shopkeeper or the clerk finds a different customer, and the customer also gets an opportunity to go to a different vendor. So once everyone has a new partner, then the customers initiate in one of the role play scenarios and act it out, okay? And the clerk must respond to the new customer's question. And this time the student should try to perform the role play without notes. So what you need to look into it is that as in when they keep doing this more and more, and see that if they are able to do without the handouts, if they're able to come up with spontaneous answers or questions. Okay? It's not mandatory, but if it can happen, then it's excellent. And finally we have part 4. So that is the revision. So what you do is you ask them, so did anyone buy anything? Which vendor was successful in selling their items? Which grocery store was most expensive? And which vendor was very rigid and was not willing to give any discount, or was not willing to lower down their price? Which one was the cheapest? And did they understand that things, where things were in the grocery store? Did any store not have what you were looking for? So there were a lot of things. You can add more questions on your own. And now finally, with some more suggestions for them to practice at home. So having the students, film an exchange at a grocery store. And this is what I strictly recommend. And it's so much fun, you can take them, or they can do it by themselves. When they walk into a supermarket or a grocery store, they can request the shopkeeper, and they can, shoot a short video while they're conversing, and they're trying to enact what they have practiced in the class, and they come back and they can all share their videos to one another, and the students can come up with their opinion, and they can actually give them a constructive video feedback. And students, it's just that have students get more creative and make short videos showing themselves at the grocery stores. And practical experiences are always not only useful, but they expedite the learning process. So yeah, so a simple topic like grocery store, you see how simply the whole flow of the lesson is, and how beautifully it was constructed in with inclusive of activities which can be so fun. It need not be so serious, because learning infused with joy and some fun is where your learners will learn the fastest and better. So along with this, viewers, if you want to add, more of your ideas to this lesson, please, you are more than welcome to do so. And another thing is that you can share your own ideas, and you can write it on the comment section. It will be wonderful for us to know that, what else you have to say, and what more new ideas you can, or we can all add to it. So Funny, so this was all about the grocery store. I hope you also enjoyed. I hope our viewers have enjoyed this lesson. And is there any questions, Funny, that you would like to know about this lesson plan? If you had to, let's say, execute this lesson plan in your class, is there something that you would like to add, or you want to ask more questions for further clarification? I'm sorry, Funny, your microphone is on mute, so we can't hear
All
you.
right.
Yeah.
I would like to add, a group role play wherein people will act like a crowd, customers, and one person will be the shopkeeper, and the
Uh-huh.
customers will one by one
Right.
go and talk with the shopkeeper. That would be a pretty
Yeah.
intensive coverage of the interpersonal intelligence too.
Yes, absolutely. And that you can do based on the level of the learners. Okay. Otherwise, with lower level of learners, as in their, linguistic proficiency, that can be really challenging and difficult for the facilitator as well to manage the whole situation. However, if they're competent enough, as in, then you can definitely add this, and this can actually end up in a lot of humorous ending. And you can have also another situation like complaint, maybe somebody, let's say, somebody have sold a rotten vegetable, or rotting meat, and the customer is complaining, and then there is a
Yes.
queue, like there are many other customers who have has to complain about. So how the vendor handles the situation. So yeah, this more complication, you can bring complications and fun challenges based on their linguistic competency actually. So that you can, it's not necessary that you will have to cover it in one particular day. You can actually spread your lesson over a week, or maybe over 2 3 days, depends on the time that you have in hand. It also depends on that, but I think that was a very great suggestion. All right then, so thank you so much for being with us.
I
And
hope
yes,
our
another
viewers will come
request.
up with a lot of suggestions down in the comment box.
Yeah, that is exactly what I was about to say. That guys, say we both are very thankful to the one who have subscribed, but definitely subscribe to our channel, because with more subscription gives us more opportunity to reach out to so many of you. And this is a portal where you can also suggest some great topics and some ideas as well. So we would love to hear from you. Please leave your valued comments in the comment section, and share the videos with your colleagues or with your near and dear ones who you think that can greatly benefit from these videos. Share with your groups, and we are there on the Facebook as well. And you can follow our Facebook page, which is called Bright Minds and Radiant Souls. You can also join the teachers group on Facebook, which is called Teachers Hub. And over there, you will find all of these videos and many more resources and materials that we keep sharing. Okay. So yeah, and you also, if you want to connect with me personally, you can you just send me a request on Facebook on June Chattopadhyay and leave a message, and definitely get back, and it'll be an honor to to find out more ideas and suggestions from you. So thank you very much. So that was really interesting, and we will see you soon with more and more content that's coming up next.
All right.